Hello everybody and welcome to this little video all about how I create Let's Plays. Over the years I've received a fair few comments asking how did you record this, or what software do you use to edit, and so on. And in order to save myself writing it out for the 348th time, I thought it best to put it in video form to point people towards. Hopefully it'll be short and sweet and help out any budding LPers. Just to note, all the advice I'm about to give is of course my own opinion, and since I'm not some massive YouTuber with huge success, don't treat it as gospel. This is simply how I go about it. Anyway, on to the first step, capturing video. For video, there are two main ways I capture footage, and it comes down to whether I'm recording on PC or a games console. For anything on a PC, the go-to program has to be Open Broadcast Software, or OBS. It allows you to record your monitor, a particular window, a game, add text, images, slideshows, tons of options, and of course live stream too. There's no excuse not to use it now since it's absolutely free, has minimal performance impact when recording, and captures high quality footage with decent file sizes. Before OBS was the dark days of using Fraps, another screen recorder which isn't free, takes up a large amount of processing power when recording, and creates huge file sizes. Since Fraps records in uncompressed AVI format, video quality is pretty much pixel perfect. However, you end up with gigabytes and gigabytes of footage to store. So basically, OBS good, Fraps bad. Things get trickier when you want to record footage from a games console. Back in the early days I used a crappy little capture card called a Dazzle, which did everything but dazzle with quality like this. Afterwards, I entered the HD era with the Hauppauge HD PVR. The thing was a nightmare to use, software and hardware wise, but it just about did the job. Eventually I got so sick of it playing up I bought myself an Elgato, the capture card I still use to this day. The little box lets you record from pretty much any console as long as you have the right cables to connect to it. I've recorded PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Wii, heck, even a Super Nintendo using it. The software is simple to use and you can even stream using it. At around £80 to £100, it's not the cheapest capture card you could get, but it's certainly done me well over the years. Up next is audio, an aspect that tends to be overlooked in favour of video quality, but don't let that fool you. Decent audio is key. Nobody wants to listen to this. Getting decent audio is much more difficult than video because microphones can sound very different depending on your PC setup. I've always found watching microphone sound examples on YouTube quite misleading, so do your research when it comes to picking a microphone. To begin with, my main microphone was part of a Koss SB45 headset, and it sounded like this. Not very nice, right? I eventually invested a bit more into a Blue Snowball Ice a few years ago, and I've been using it ever since. Compared to the likes of the Blue Yeti, the price is decent. I managed to pick mine up for about £30 on sale, but even now it's only around £50. One thing to note is it's pretty much useless without some necessary additional items. I also use a microphone arm so I can position it exactly where I want, and I also use a pop filter to remove all those pesky P sounds you can get. When it comes to how you record your audio, things like OBS can capture both footage audio and microphone audio. However, sometimes it's best to keep those in separate tracks in case you need to edit the sound of one or something goes wrong. I use a program called Audacity if I want to record my microphone separately. It's free, it's powerful, and it lets you fix up any audio issues easily. The most important thing you can do with your audio, if necessary, is remove background noise. My computer fans can get a bit loud, so changing it from sounding like this to sounding like this makes a big difference. In terms of editing your footage and audio together to create the final video, there are a few options for what editing software to use. I currently use Adobe Premiere Pro. I first started using it at university and simply got too used to it to change back. Bear in mind it is super duper expensive though since Adobe switched to a subscription model. Thankfully I split the price of it with a friend. If you don't fancy paying an arm and a leg, or obtaining it through not very legal means, you could use Sony Movie Studios, the program that I used to use. If you've ever heard of Sony Vegas, it's very similar to that, just with a few of the more professional features not included. Aside from that, it does everything it needs to at a decent price. You can usually pick it up on Amazon or even Steam for around £30 to £40. When it comes to the actual uploading of content, whether you want to create thumbnails or name them a particular way, that's all down to you. I use Photoshop for thumbnails and try to keep titles quite formatted. I just want to add one more bit of advice, and it's probably the most important advice I can give. It's not about video or audio or getting the best content, it's about the process of making Let's Plays as a whole. Before you start, make sure you're creating videos for the right reasons. It's fine to have a goal in mind, hitting a certain number of subscribers or making a certain amount of money, but don't let that become the only reason. Make videos because you want to, because you enjoy it, not for some ulterior motive. Becoming big on YouTube and earning thousands of dollars is nigh on impossible without a tremendous amount of luck, so don't be put off when your first few videos reach an audience of 0. Instead, focus on quality and consistency, grow your audience over time, and don't forget to enjoy the ride. It allows you to record your monitor, a particular window, a game, add text, image, slideshows. Oh dear.